Hi there, from Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. This is going to be the continuation in a series of videos about purchase orders. We've gone over creating purchase orders, comparing them, creating variance, budget, and how to create change orders and ways to change purchase orders and all kinds of things about them, how to copy them, etc. But now that we've done all this work on purchase orders, let's take a look at the main place where a list of all those purchase orders are gathered for you and just a little bit of the tools on the list of all purchase orders window. In some of the next videos, we're going to come back to this powerful window that it has to do with purchase orders and comparing them to costs that have been applied to the purchase orders, etc., and how to apply cost to, attach cost to purchase orders. But this is going to be, the first thing is going to be about just the basic list of all your purchase orders, which is, if you're looking for a purchase order real quickly, you would do a quick search down here to open this and then use the button for list of POs, which is the same list as this, except this top list has a lot more search features, extensive searches, and it will open showing all of your purchase orders. It'll be bringing them in. It'll actually show the first, I think it is 100, and as you scroll down it'll start showing more. See, to save time opening the window, 100 records will be loaded at a time. Notice that this builder has 223, so if you scroll down, you'll see a little whirly thing as it brings in 100 more of them for just a few moments. We just don't load, especially if you have thousands of purchase orders, we don't load that on opening because your window would just never open if we let it show all several thousand. But now we're through, you can see this sliding down and no more whirly things. So we've done it 3 times, which means we now have our 223 records here if we're just wanting to go up and down and up and down and look at all kinds of things. Let's just go ahead and do one simple search first, and let's just look for all the purchase orders we've been talking about so much in all of our previous videos for this job that we set up as a demo job. So let's select it and then let's submit our search, and then we'll come back and do a little more types of searches to demonstrate just a bit. But first of all, you'll notice now it's 75 records and all of them are there, since it's bringing the first 100. And if it had 300 records for that job, you'd need to pull down again because it's now gone and refreshed and requeried for the first 100 records. This screen is showing all the purchase orders. First of all, in vendor order, you'll see the vendor code, the vendor name, and then the job. If we hadn't just searched for one job, we might have some more POs for this ABC Foundation for some other job, and that would have its own highlighted title. So they're grouped like that so that you can scroll by vendor on this window. When we get over to the POs and cost management window, we're going to be doing a little more scrolling by cost code rather than by vendor. So there's 2 ways to get to look at big lists of POs. This one is by vendor, and if you'd been really interested in a certain vendor, you could have done your search and asked for that. But let's take a look at what's available on this window. First of all, for this vendor, you can click on it to drill down and see any contact information you might need about that vendor and any notes that you've typed. This button right here, this red X for deleting the purchase order, will open actually the same purchase order window that clicking on this, the PO number, and this, the amount. Every one of these would open the same purchase order window. That's because we need to get that window open so that we can check for various things that are on there, do some looking for whether actual costs have been attached and some things like that before you delete it. So it's a little bit easier to take a look at all your information, make sure it is a purchase order that you want to delete, and then you would click this delete PO button and it would be deleted. I've done some previous deletions of POs while I've been talking, so you can see that up here, if you click the PO's audit button, there's probably some down here talking about Let's go ahead and tell it to show quite a lot more per page of these audit records. It shows the latest audit record at the top, and you can do some searching here to find just POs that have been deleted. But see how this says confirmed deletion of purchase order. Amount was 5140.8. This is the vendor here. This is the job. This is the cost code. Who did it and when. So you can search. You can use this show hide search row here and say you just maybe the job. We know this is Vista View 3811, and I could type that job in. You can do all kinds of searches in the audit records if you're searching for who did it or what vendor or what cost code. But let's just say I want an exact match. So now it's showing, and that's highlighted in bold, various things I've done. I could search for certain cost codes, see things I've done to certain POs, etc. Even search for just certain PO numbers, certain names. It's now skewed across here because it opened the search row, and I can just hide the search row if I want to be able to look at this a little bit better. So that's the audit window that's going on up here, giving CHS behind the scenes is tracking an awful lot of what you do. We talked in the previous video about copying POs, so if you would go to that section about copying POs, this is where I went, was to this list to use the copy icon. If you hover over the cost code, you can see the title. This says slab contract. For space, we do it where we hover over. If you hover over the stage, you can see the name of the stage. This is showing you the number because maybe you only want to look for certain POs through a certain stage. Let's just look for POs through, let's see, I lost my train of thought. Oh, through this stage, and it says use a less than or equal sign, and on all these search features you'll get some tips about some of those symbols that you can use if you slide down. But let's say I want a less than or equal to stage 3, and I submit a search. So now it'll just be that this Vista View job, because I had that in my search, and anything. You'll notice that all the stage numbers are only up through stage 3. You might be doing something like that with your list of POs because you're going to issue POs for a next stage. You might just ask for one stage. Maybe you're done with stage 3 or you're getting close to being done with stage 3 and you want to issue POs for just stage 4. I could have just put a 4 in there rather than symbols in that search and found things through stage 4. The PO title is here. That's the PO title you type in. That would print at the top of purchase orders, and hopefully you're typing some meaningful titles that'll help you look for things. Notice that I can go ahead and search for the PO title. I think it says can type partial, so maybe I want to see anything that has the word foundation or something like that in my title if I've been using that. It only found one with engineering foundation. Let's search again, and let's take that out, and let's submit our search again, and we'll get them all back. But you can see how you could use a partial title if you wanted to look for that. PO type is either, like we've talked about before, is either budgeted, a variance PO, or a change order purchase order that you issue when you're doing change orders, and we went over that in our videos. But one helpful thing is if we do a search, let's go ahead and take out this stage thing, and we're interested in just seeing all of our variance POs because we want a report, and we did talk about this report. This is the only variance POs we've done in our demo job, and they're not very meaningful. So let's go and look at a job that this builder did really work on, issued some real variance POs, the DeGroot job, and we'll submit that search. And so these are all variance POs because I selected variance, to search for on my search window. And this builder might have just asked for all the variance POs on this job so that they could get this report that's by job and then variance type, or by variance type then cost code. Here's the difference between those two. This is the job first, and then the variance type, and then something about the POs and the amount of that PO, This was damaged by trade. These were estimating errors. This was spec changed, and if you watch the variance POs, you'll understand where those variance types are coming from, and this would give him a good report of how much were for variance POs. In other words, they were varying and not planned for, etc. One other report that goes with that variances is there's one by the type first and then the cost code. It's a little bit neater because it has the type real clear rather than a job code at the top. You can tell on this report if you have multiple jobs, that can be kind of interesting because you can see, let me do that. Let me go ahead and show you that kind of search. Let's just ask for that DeGroot job and our demo job because I think there's something interesting there. I held down my control key and I clicked on both of those. You can see some information about how to do that and those tips down there. So I'll submit this search. Now I have both the DeGroot job and my VistaView job just for variances because I didn't change that part of my search. Excuse me. Let's take a look at the report that's just by type and then cost code, because it won't split like the other report is each job by itself. But notice here that you can tell which job it is based on the purchase order number here. This is VistaView and this is DeGroot. Notice this says damaged by trade. So you're starting to see more than one job together. This cost code, somebody damaged the sink, somebody damaged the sink. Let's go down here for a minute. Notice that here's DeGroot job and VistaView job, and both of them overlooked under the estimating error section of these variance types, left out the master bath window, and so had to go get it. So that could be, you could see how this report would start letting you know some things that you keep overlooking maybe and need to correct in the future when you're budgeting for jobs. So let's close that. If you drill down on the amount of the PO, you'll just open that same PO window we saw a minute ago. We did a little talking about, we did a whole video talking about somebody in the field approving that the work is done on things here. Let's go ahead and clear a little bit of our search, get back to just our demo job. Let's clear our search fields, get back to that VistaView job, submit the search. And then we will take a look at some of this. Notice how work done check marks are here, which we showed as somebody in the field is marking that the work is done. We also showed that if they write any notes, there'll be a little pin icon here that looks different than this T icon. The pin icon will show you notes that they wrote in the field about this PO if you like. So if you'd like to study on that, you can. This is also marked that the PO is done, has been done. In other words, there's probably costs attached to it, etc., so that you have marked it as done, and you can drill down on the cost like I just did over here to see the detail of the costs and do editing as you need, etc. This is a variance report that we've seen before about these various kinds of things. It'll show you the whole grouping that is in. It'll show you what the estimated cost of completion is and whether that's headed over or not, masonry, labor, etc. We apparently got POs in for higher than the budget. I'm going over these things fairly quickly because you can study these. We did have a whole video about vendor bids, so if you drill down on bids that you might have posted, you can see those, or you can add, attach a bid or add a bid for this job and this cost code. I guess we told it to show us all jobs here when we cleared it. But there is a bid here that you can look at. There's also an attachment showing here so that you can see the bid that is attached to that PO if you like, because they uploaded a bid and attached it. But what I'm trying to demonstrate is how this is a control screen for doing various things with your POs. Some of our builders like to assign a status to the PO, like delivered, called for, picked up. And so you could type in called for or delivered, or I didn't even look at what that PO is for, so just ignore me. I'm just showing you. It saved it. If I close it, it's going to show on this line delivered. You can use that PO status, type in anything you like, and you can use search fields, and it'll show you then any statuses that you've used. You can select one or two or more and just search for POs by certain status thing. That's up to you to decide, something you're controlling your POs with based on its status. Like I said, you can assign any status that you like to it. Over here you'll see start, delivery, and completed dates that you've assigned. In our demo jobs and various things, we haven't spent a lot of time doing that. But if you click this little pencil icon, you'll actually open the same window I just had open, and you can put start, delivery, and completion dates in if you like. And then you can do searching of this list of POs based on starting dates, delivery dates, completed date. You can also see the builder that was assigned to the job on the setup window, the job manager, and you can search just for POs for certain job managers on that list. I'm going to clear all my search fields and submit this search so I have all the POs back. Then over here you see the job again. It's pretty clear based on the job over here in your gray bar title, but that's all, and it's just showing whether it's active or not active. You might want to come in and search for only active jobs right away so that you're not dealing with that in your list, and then you can just see just active jobs in your list of POs if that's all you're interested in. Leave it at active and then look for POs with certain status, etc. Now when you do the reports up here based on everything that you've searched for, you can have a list of POs by job and then cost code. I'll go through these pretty quick. It's pretty clear. It's showing you by this job and then this job and then the cost code and a list of them in totals. It's basic lists. You can export those to Excel. This will show you any internal notes that you wrote on the purchase order itself about the purchase order, so you could print that out. This is just a list by job, and then cost code says with sales tax. Has a little more detail across here as the amount, the sales tax, and the total with tax instead of just a total PO amount some of the other reports have. And this will show all these return dates. If you marked that the PO has been returned, I think I might have jumped past that field, but it's showing PO title, PO date, whether it was returned. This is just the return date. If you're tracking whether they've returned a signed purchase order to you, what you can do is check mark it right here when they return it to you. I jumped right past that field. But if you are doing that process, you can check mark something and you can do a search. We could do a search for return signed, yes, and probably just see that one I check marked. Or we could do a search for return signed, no, for one particular job if we're just trying to look and see who hasn't returned a PO that we created. If you have that policy and you want to track that they have returned a signed PO to you, you can do that. You can open the PO and attach that signed PO to it if you like, as one of the attachments that we saw in earlier videos. That pretty well covers how you can search this screen, the various tools that are on the screen, how you might use search for extensive management of your jobs for ones that you're going to issue through a certain stage, or you might have assigned a certain status to it and you're searching for them that way so that you can do certain things with them and produce them. So it's pretty flexible for you to use as you like, but it is one way if you're looking for a purchase order that you would come in and use search features to do that. Now one more thing before I go is if I asked, I can do a quick search for purchase orders for active jobs only, and maybe I'm just looking for all purchase orders that we've assigned to this demo vendor that we set up. So I can narrow it down to the vendor, narrow it down to the job, you know, that kind of thing, and see all the POs just issued for what I just did a quick search on. Now if you click this search up here, it's going to tell you need to go to the full database to get all those extensive searches. This is already based on a search that you did, that quick search on the previous window. But it has all these tools, and if you do a report here, it's going to recognize this quick search that we did and only show you the stuff that was in that. You can see all these will be for that ABC Foundation that we searched for. So there you go. This is just a quick way to go find POs. Second button down is POs and cost management, and we will come back in some additional videos about those. They're very handy for if you're trying to spot how much costs have been attached to POs, whether they're over, under, or if you need to make some corrections. So thank you for watching this video.